Hello, this is CurtisCroweThePhotoPro here, and today what we have for you is a Lightroom tutorial on how to organize your workflow. Now, to start off, I'd like to apologize about the audio quality. I'm not in my normal place in which I usually work. Currently, I am bedbound. Since I got back from vacation, I'm having some medical issues. So unfortunately for today, I am stuck in the bed, so all the videos for this week will probably sound a little funny. But to get started, we are going to talk about your workflow. What do you do after you import all those photos? How do you organize them? How do you go through them, decide which ones to keep, decide which ones to get rid of, and how to do it quickly? Now, what I like to use is a collection of collections. A little play on words there. I like to use filters. I don't really like to use the flagging filters, but I also really heavily use stars and colors. What I do is I went ahead and I uploaded this. I already started 5-starring a couple of them before I started the video. But that's what I do first is I go through all my photos, decide which ones are like the really good ones. I only do 4 and 5 star as far as quality for photos. If it's a photo that I'm like, oh, that's good, but I might find a better one for that pose, I'll 4-star it. If it's like, oh, that's the money shot, then I'll 5-star it if I know right away. We'll 4-star that one. Anyways, any ones that I know won't make the cut, I don't even worry about starring them. And when I'm going through, if I have a collection that's a little light on photos, I'll sometimes go through the 4-star ones and try to reevaluate those to see if there's any of them that I can make work so I can add them to the final product. So again, going through here, 5-star and 4-star and doing all that stuff. What we look for is good composition, good framing. If there's minor adjustments to framing that need to be done, but it's an overall good shot, go ahead and keep it. You can always go through, and when you're in the editing process, I mean, you're not permanently bound to the moment you 5-star your photo, oh, I have to send this to the client. See, I like her posing there, but I don't like that face. So I'm probably not going to use that one, but we'll see how it looks after it's edited. It's better to star more of them at the beginning and edit more, because if you go through and after you've been editing and you review the image, you might be like, oh no, that's a horrible image, why did I 5-star that? Well, that gives you the opportunity to go ahead and just knock it off your list before you actually start editing it, which is good. Now, a little complaint I'd like to make here, actually I think I like that one more than that one, is men are victims of this all the time. I don't know if a lot of times the girls decide what they're going to wear on their engagement shoot or if the guys decide, but regardless, the double black is just a terrible color to work with when a photographer is editing, as you guys probably already know. So always urge your clients to wear colors, something bright, something that's going to really help your images pop, especially in fall pictures. Black, once you start editing it, a lot of times, look, he's now a floating head on a black abyss. You know, it doesn't take much for you to lose all shape to black clothing. So we're going to go through here, and these photos, as you can tell, are fairly old. This is from 2012, but I just found a bunch of my old catalog, or I just found a bunch of my old RAW files, so I wanted to go through them, and unfortunately I didn't get any of my catalogs back, so I'm going to have to go through them and re-edit them anyways. So I figured, you know what, this would be an awesome opportunity for video content. Oh, I like that one. See, what's important is, okay, the image is overall sharp, considering it's a T3i with a 50mm, shooting at f1.8. This was a time of my life in my photography career in which I thought shooting wide open was the end-all be-all. Well, now that I am more experienced, and it's been a few years, I always shoot for the situation and the composition, of course, first. But if the composition or the situation allows me to go down a stop or two, I'll always do that, because 1 or 2 stops Doesn't make a huge difference to the background, but it can make a huge difference to your sharpness. So that is something to always consider. Oh boy, what are they doing here? Let's see here. None of these really look usable. There we go. We're starting to get to something that might be usable. I don't like how I cut off his foot there. He's being silly. A lot of times too, I'll use 4-star shots and still give them to the clients. If they're funny photos, I'll 4-star them. So that way when they're going through them, they're like, oh, that's funny and cute and I like it. So he focuses. Shooting at f1.8, it's just, with them moving and me moving, it was too hard to keep to get tack sharp images. So we got a kiss. Do we have any good shots from the kiss? Oh boy. Look at that face. Almost like that one, but I don't like his mouth being that much open. Let's see here. Let's do that. And we just go through and we start starring them the way we want them to be starred. See, focus is way off there. I don't even think there's any... Oh, right there. Boom. That's where it must have focused. Son of a bitch. Sorry for the language. Alright, so we got them. I like that shot. That was one of the shots I was looking forward to doing. And we just go through and we keep going through until we find all the keepers that we want. Oh, they're being silly. We're going to 4-star that one. Silly. I kind of like that one. Let's see here. Get that one. And the important part of this is to be quick. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm using my arrow keys instead of my mouse to click all the shots. So that way, this is a shot that they wanted. So that way, I am moving as quickly as possible because it's quicker to hit the arrow button than it is to actually click each individual photo. So, let's see here. Oh, that looks like a point and shoot shot. Was there flash in this shot? Why was there flash? Oh, well, it was a couple years ago. I don't remember. So we got shots of them being silly and kissing. So now we're to the jumping shots. Now, I handle these a little bit differently because they are action shots. So what I do is I use the 3-star for all my action shots. All my stars have different meanings. 1 star, personal marketing, all that other stuff. 2 stars is behind the scenes. Sometimes I like to post that to show families kind of like what we're all doing with the bride and groom, with the engaged couple, with the babies, stuff like that. 3 stars, action shots. 4 stars, these look pretty good, but not quite there / funny shots. And 5 stars are my, yes, I will fully edit you and send you to the client. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and 3-star all these. That's how you use the star section. And you just press 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5 for whatever star you want. So that's a quick way to go through your photos. It's literally right arrow, star, right arrow, star, right arrow, star, right arrow, star. You can go through it super quick. If you find that your load times are slowing you down, there are some settings in Lightroom as far as your photo cache that you can change in order to speed it up. Or I would recommend, if you want to spend money, to upgrade to a solid state drive. Because if you upgrade to a solid state drive, the photos load pretty dang quickly. I mean, I have mine set up to load the full res images, all that other stuff, so I get a little bit sharper photo. So really it's the slowest option that Lightroom has, but it gives you more detail. But I run a solid state drive, so it actually doesn't slow me down that much. These load pretty dang quick right off the solid state drive. So I'm happy with that. Again, that will significantly increase your editing speed if you have one of those solid state drives. But you got to make sure that you actually put the project, the catalog, on the solid state drive with the photos. Otherwise, you're just running off your old hard drive, FYI. Now what we're going to do is we're going to show you collections, because after I 5-star them and I do a scene, I want to turn it into a collection. I can do this one of two ways, and I'm going to show you both ways. One is you can filter by 5 stars, so you're only looking at the important ones, and we can go equal to. Or you can even click here and switch equal to or greater than and switch to 4 stars. So now we have our almost good pictures and our great pictures. So if you want to do it that way, you can. Now what you do is you just go through the photos. These are all bridge scene photos. We want bridge scene photos. Okay, these are still on the bridge, still on the bridge, still on the bridge, off the bridge. So we go to our last photo on the bridge, which is here. We go back to the first one and we hold down that shift key and we click. That selects all the photos between there and here. So now we have all the bridge photos selected. We go to our collections and we hit plus, create collection. Then we type in here bridge photos, and voila! Everything is now collectioned into the bridge folder or bridge photos folder right here. So now what we do is we go back to all photos, and then we go back to here, and then we grab the next one. So we do photos by the fence. Let's see here. Okay. Then we add collection, create, photos. Nope. We'll just do white wooden fence. So these are the white wooden fence shots. Boom. So now we can look at our bridge photos that are good. We can look at our white bridge or white wooden fenced photos that are good. And then we can just go back to all photos. And what this does is it allows you to take your very large photo shoot and cut it down into much more manageable sizes. What we can do here is we continue to flag them if we wanted to. But I believe we have a couple more scenes. So we got one here with a roof and the pillars. So we're going to do, click here, and we're going to add, we're going to go create collection, brick pillars. So now we have the location of the brick pillars. So again, very manageable. And if you're in the middle of editing this and it's taking you a couple days, and a client's like, hey, I would really like the photos that we took here by the brick pillars, and you can just edit these real quick. You can click right here and you can select all these photos here after you've edited them, and very quickly just hit export and you can start sending them to your client. It's a fast option in order to streamline your workflow. So now we can go back to all photos, and you just continue down the line as you do this. Let's hit the stars if we wanted to. Now what I like to do personally is I like to get all the photos into a catalog that are 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, anything like that. Just for example, the bridge shots. I want to select all the bridge shots, good, bad, terrible, all of them right here. Let's keep scrolling, keep scrolling. A lot of photos by the bridge. Oh, there we are. So we select all the photos by the bridge. Now we have 105 selected. And we can just drag them into the bridge photos. Boom, we have now updated to 105. And now we're in our collections and we just add the filters. So we go boom to 4 stars. Now we have our 4 stars, our 5 stars. We're still by the bridge. And if I want to just turn off that filter, I now have all the photos by the bridge. And that's how I prefer to do it. Again, it's going to be a little bit more cluttered if you're not using your filters, but that's why those filters are there, are to clean up the junk that's there. So that's how I like to do it. All right, and now finally we're going to talk about the editing process. So we went ahead, we 5-starred them, we added them to collections, we have everything now separated the way we wanted. Now we're going to go ahead and go to the editing process. And what I'll do for that is typically I'll go through and do a quick run. So like I'll do exposure changes for example. Here, let me use my preset. See if I like my preset. I do like my preset a lot. 1 point, let's go 0.75. There we go. That brings exposure a lot closer to where I want it. We want to retain that shape in his shirt there. I don't like how that looks. Let's add a little bit more contrast. There we go. And let's bring it down a little bit. Add a little bit more clarity. Boom. These T3i raw files are a little harder to edit because they give you a little less wiggle room than what I'm used to with my Canon 70D or my Canon 6D raw files or the 5D Mark III raw files. So boom, I changed exposure, I got saturation, all that stuff where I want it. I can now press the 8 button, and what that did was, if you look down here, you will see that the photo is now framed in a green box. What that means is it's now flagged as a green photo. So if I go through here and let's just, for quickness, add the same edits to multiple photos. Okay, let's say that's exactly how we want all of them edited. So what I can do is I can then hit 8, and we can just keep hitting 8 in order to get all those photos marked as green. Now, if I did the edits, but I know I was going to do local edits later, such as blemishes, whitening teeth, like I would here, I would go ahead and hit 7 in order to turn the photo yellow, or the frame yellow. As you see here, it is now yellow. And what that means is kind of like green's good to go, yellow's, oh, it still needs a little bit more work, and then red will usually mean photo needs full-on reconstruction. Like that's usually, oh, I need to put this into Photoshop and really, really do some hardcore editing. That's the 3 colors that I typically use. Occasionally, if there's a special circumstances to that particular photo shoot, I will go ahead and use blue. And you do have more than just those 4 colors. You also have purple here. You have 2 different types of gray. So I hope that was useful for you. That's exactly how I go ahead and go through my workflow. I just cut it down into smaller sections. I started off with 600 and some odd photos, and then I just start 4-starring and 5-starring and 3-starring and doing all my different stars, and then I just add things into collections so that way I can quickly find photos when I need to. And that's more or less for my organizational purposes. Oh, I want to edit the photos by the bridge, and it also helps keep you a little bit more on track. Also, if you have a second shooter, it's easier to get all her photos by the bridge and all your photos by the bridge together in a collection in order to work on them at the same time. It allows you to streamline your work and it allows you to save a lot of time. The key is organization, and you'll see a huge improvement in your editing skills, your editing time, if you just make these changes in the beginning. Really organize your workflow. I hope this has been useful for you. This has been Curtis Crowe, the Photo Pro, and as I always do, toodles.